Intoxxikated Television. We are back with our special guest, Willow.
Hello.
Yay. Yeah, so we're starting back where we left off. I kind of dropped the ball on that. Like my brain fucking cells weren't bouncing off each other correctly. Anyway, so let's talk about. So we Michigan, Grand Rapids. It was kind of a cool place. Like they had their little like art community, like music scene there.
Yeah. So, I mean, that was like the only good part about Michigan, other than my family being there. The music scene, the art scene was cool too, but having everyone come together and show off their different talents of all their different styles that they were involved in.
Let's talk more about the music scene there. Like how like was it pretty diverse or what?
I would say so. It was a lot of like rap, punk, emo, rock music. And actually right before I came out to Arizona, a couple of my friends went on their family's property and all of us built this huge stage in the middle of the woods, and then it was like a bunch of people's bands just performed on the stage all weekend long. We called it Intense Fest. Or no, that's the one in Yuma, excuse me. It was Tent City. Not to be confused with the jail.
Whoa.
Not to be confused. It was the fun Tent City.
Okay.
But no, that was literally right before I moved to Arizona, and it was funny because I actually just reached out to them and was like, we have to have a 10-year reunion where all of us build the stage again and try and make the fire burn as long as we can. That fire was so hot, man. It lasted through.
Did you guys charge tickets, or it was just like a bunch of homies?
It was like all the homies just got together, like everyone was in a band, so everyone just came and brought their tent and was like, this is what I'm working on.
Fuck yeah. So damn, I was just gonna ask you something else, but let's just move on. So you grew up there. Well, I mean, LA, you're little, teenage to 20 or so. That was the Michigan. So let's talk about the transition from Michigan to Arizona now, all of a sudden.
It was like we had an understanding that we were heading towards Arizona, but we didn't know that we were necessarily gonna run out of gas there. So
okay.
So I mean, and I've just lived there ever since. I've loved it the whole time. We did a bunch of traveling in between from Michigan. It was me and my cousin. We traveled from Michigan back to Arizona. She had a little place that she was renting out that she was getting subletted at the time. But yeah, when we got there, we were like, we have no money. We should stay at this place and figure out how to get dollar bills. But
and what'd you do?
I walked into a sandwich shop and was like, hire me immediately. And they were like, okay.
All right.
But then
that's one way to do it.
I was just like, I need a job. And they're like, they looked at my resume and they were just opening their store. So they were like, okay, your resume doesn't suck. I was like, I'll start tomorrow. Yeah, I'll see you then.
All right.
But yeah, and I loved it because they had open mic nights, so I could still like convince someone to play guitar, or I was already used to singing a cappella anyways, like growing up, just singing by myself.
All right, so the sandwich shop was doing open mics. Yeah. So it gave you an opportunity to like sing again and stuff, or like keep singing, or
yeah, like especially because I've always really loved clean vocal singing, like whether it's rock music, like a lovely ballad, or even like I really appreciate folk music. I think it's super beautiful.
All right.
Like
that's like some Midwest shit.
But I also really love a bunch of instruments playing at times. So like ska music or mariachi music. That was something that I was like, I forgot about mariachi music when I moved from Michigan back towards the West. I was like, this is on the radio? Like, turn that up.
All right.
And people still giggle about it because I'll be pulling up. I know a little bit of Spanish, enough to sing along to the songs and like have an idea of what I'm singing about, but don't ask me to have a full-on conversation with you.
So, what are the main differences between that same thing, like how I was asking, but I mean, you were a lot younger then, but like this time you're like a bunch older. So like, what are the like main culture difference or something that from Midwest to fucking Arizona? Like what are the things that like stuck out when you like, did you have to like, I can't think of the word right now, like adjust to like, oh shit, like this is like a whole different out here and shit or something. Was it like an easy transition or like how like?
I mean, more or less. I had kind of a hard time adjusting because of the weather. I moved out in the middle of a heat wave.
Right, weather.
Yeah, I have a thing about moving to a place at the worst opportune time.
What that was like, what in my head I'm like thinking like that's probably one of the major things, but
it was like a heat wave. We were in a leather seat car with no air conditioning. We're putting ice cubes in our hair so that way it'll just melt onto us and keep us cool. It was terrible.
It's hot as fuck over there, huh?
Yeah, when we were reading the gauge, it read 131. We could literally feel our brain cells melting. We're like, we're gonna
131?
get the fuck out of this hot box.
Holy fuck.
Just inside the car, yeah, because it didn't have air conditioning.
Damn.
Terrible.
So besides the weather, what else? Like
I mean,
because you pretty much grew up like in the Midwest, and now all of a sudden you're fucking in this death fucking heat fucking place.
But people were still putting on shows in the heat, so it was dope because I came to Arizona and we immediately made these friends that were our roommates that were musicians that put on a whole bunch of random shows and introduced us to some of my favorite local musicians that I know today, including my homie Keith that I shouted out on the last episode. Keith, you're such a good guitar player.
Shout out.
But yeah, and those are still some of my good homies to this day.
So you kind of just like,
I guess I always kind of gravitated to those kind of
vibes, so you kind of just like ran into the right fucking people and just got right into it.
Yeah, pretty much.
Tell me a little bit about the Arizona music scene.
I was very excited to see that Arizona had a lot more of a reggae scene. And, like, we had punk music out there, but we don't have, like, punk from Mexico out in the Midwest. We have people in Arizona, like, shout out to Los Lepres. They're an amazing punk band from Mexico that comes to Arizona and travels all throughout the southern states. And I love all the different types of bands that come in through Arizona. Like in Michigan, it was my younger years, so it was like the emo, screamo mostly scene, and then I came out here and it was like, all right, we can like relax and mellow out a little bit more.
So it's like you have a diverse, like, the only reason I'm asking, I'm just like curious because like one of my homies fucking moved out there and fucking started a band, and they ended up they started touring around and shit, and but he kept telling everybody like, man, the fucking music scene is like fucking way hell lit. Like fucking like I don't know, like a mini Nashville or some shit or something. I don't know. Like I can't compare the two, but
I mean, I definitely saw a whole different genre of music, like varieties of music while I was in Michigan. Um, because like people come to Michigan from all over the world, so you literally have the opportunity to listen to every single type of music, or
Right.
like that's available at least because there's so many different types of people that live there.
Right.
So, I mean, I didn't even get started on the different types of like Dominican beats that we'd be bumping to.
So I guess one more time, like just like
I guess it was a
the
different level of appreciation
which one?
coming out to Arizona.
So they're more diverse in Arizona.
I would say they're more diverse in Michigan because there's
There's
every
more
type
of a melting
person.
pot out there,
Yeah.
and then Arizona is mostly.
I've mostly really found myself like in the punk and metal scene and like a little bit of the rap scene. I haven't really seen too much other.
There ain't much rap in Arizona.
I mean, I don't want to downplay the good rappers that are out there, but
We're not trying to. I'm not trying to get you to fucking start like sneak dissing motherfuckers.
No, the rap scene is that's not where you go for Arizona for the rap scene.
All right. Is there like country scene?
There are people that listen
Or
to
just
country
like
out
what?
there,
What did you
like
say? Metal and punk?
that's the main scenes that I've found myself in.
All right. And like when Hannah was on here, what we're about to get to that. So when Hannah was on here, she was saying that like the shows are pretty wild out there, like because of the heat. Like people wild out a little bit. Like
I mean, I try to not go to too many outdoor shows if I can help it.
Okay, fair enough.
Um, yeah, because that heat is
So
intense.
like so how many people like show out? Like if you guys have a fucking show on a random day during the week, like what do you think? Like 50 people or 100 people or
Probably
scattered?
scattered, yeah, anywhere between 50 to 100 people. Back when we were at the PPC Crack House too, it was different. It was like a house and a shack that they built up.
Okay.
But they would be doing all different sorts of shows every weekend. Like
All right.
they would also do mad drives too. So like food drive, clothing drives. They would put on fashion shows to help people like get an idea of what the in styles are.
So here's a question. Like do you guys have like are there like shows like almost every day of the week or like or is it like events like maybe
I would say regularly.
you know what I
At
mean?
least every weekend.
Oh, all right. So like weekends like or do you like I don't know, like for Reno like we have show like every day of the fucking week like multiple places. So like we're like completely spoiled out of our brains. Like people are bored like or not bored, but they're just like, oh, I don't need to go tonight if you got something going on because there's 100 more shows this week. So like, I don't know, like,
I think it just depends on what you're trying to do out there because there are things to do, but it's like
is it more
not
selective though?
necessarily. Yeah, it's more selective. Like if you're trying to specifically go to like a live music show, you're gonna want to aim for the weekend.
Okay.
Like there are some random ones throughout the week, but
Right.
they're a little bit quieter, like a lot more local bands.
Right. I'm just like trying to like grasp like growing up in Wisconsin and shit, like if you like there it might be like once or twice a month that we have a big name like coming anywhere in our vicinity or something. So like that was a major event, you know? That's why like a lot of bands are like, fuck yeah, Wisconsin rocks. It's because like, yo, like fucking we don't really like we didn't really like people are like really excited when people come through like because we didn't really have many options and shit. Like, you know, I mean I guess the local things like but still that it was it wasn't a daily thing. It wasn't a weekly thing. It was kind of like once or twice a month, fucking, and then everybody show the fuck out because they're so excited and shit. So like,
right. No, we have a lot of like multiple genres of variety of people that come through regularly.
And the shows are like pretty legit most of the times, or
at the big stages, yeah, because they have multiple like arenas that get sold out.
Okay,
so there's like a couple different, depending on who you're seeing, like
right.
where they're able to have the venue.
No, like as far as like the local shows though too, like it's usually
the local
like
shows usually like at least 100 people.
Right, like people are like fucking.
They're stoked about it.
All right, that's dope. That's kind of where I was getting at. All right, so let's get to the major questions here. Yeah, like, okay, so how did you meet Hannah?
I met Hannah.
Shout out to Hannah.
Shout out Hannah. Housekeeping.
Housekeeping.
That's my homie right there. I met her at Chiba Hut. So at the time, my locks were just
okay. So how long were you there at that time? Like at this time, like how long were you living there before you met Hannah?
Maybe like 4 or 5 years.
Okay.
In Arizona.
All right.
Yeah.
And you were working there, or are you just...
Yeah, I was working at Chiba Hut. I was working at a different store, and I got transferred to her store.
All right.
And we had locks that were similar length, and we had like
she was working there too?
Yeah.
Okay.
She has a similar body type as me too, so like people kept coming up to me from behind to give me a hug, be like, I miss my friend, and be like, doing? Oh fuck, like you're not my friend, not your friend yet. But yeah, so cheers, yeah. But yeah, so I was like, so you're the person that people keep hugging me about. And then, yeah, her and her boyfriend at the time, they would throw get-togethers at their house. And so all the coworkers would come over. And that was how we really got close. Was like me just going over there and hanging out there.
Okay.
And she would like always be leaving for months at a time and be allowed to come back. And I'm like, okay, like this place must be pretty forgiving if people could just leave and come back like that. But I found out she was going to Burning Man, and like there was a couple other homies that worked at
oh shit, it all starting to unravel now. Like, here we go.
For real though, like there was a couple homies that were like doing the same pattern. They were gone and then would just come back, just come back. And so I found out that they were doing the Burning Man thing too.
You're like, how in the fuck do these guys get to leave for a month?
Like, must be nice. And then like a couple years ago, Hannah was like, fuck, I wish I had like a babysitter out there. And so I would always tell her like, yeah, catch me as the babysitter. Like, I'll be out there. But it would never work out because I'm poor. And I never had a vehicle for a long time either. So I was like, it didn't seem like it was really in the plans for me. But like, her and I just kept showing up for each other. And like, our friendship just like kept getting stronger and stronger. And last year, I was like, I am going to go out there with you. Like, this is going to be the year. And it ended up not working out again. So, but in that time, in it not working out, I was separated from the job I was working at, which was the reason that I wasn't able to go. And I started working for her. I called her and was like, hey, I work for you now. And she was like, okay. And she was like asking me if I was going to be able to take over while she was going to make her trip. And I was like, can we find someone else to take over so I can go with you?
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's working itself out. If you guys ever need a house cleaning, or if you need a business cleaning and you live in Arizona, or if you live in Reno in the times that we're out here, hit up housekeeping because right. She cleans really good. And housekeeping! Yeah. But yeah, so it ended up working itself out this year, and I'm really excited. Like you and I were talking about the other day, like it's hard to find like trustworthy people out here, and like she really is one of the most trustworthy people I know. And I'm intrigued to see just like how many trustworthy people she knows that I also get to meet, you being one of them. So
ah, thank you, Miss Willow.
he's housed me, he's fed me, his amazing girlfriend Terry.
Fuck yeah, y'all, you girls always have a fucking spot over here and shit. You already know that, like, absolutely. So yeah, so yeah, so you meet Hannah, you start hanging out, y'all start vibing out, like same fucking goddamn the shit again. So you girls meet at the job, what fucking
At Chiba Hut.
Piano Bean or whatever it was.
But yeah, we just like, you know, all friendships have trials and tribulations. We did a lot of healing simultaneously and was able to like keep showing up for each other. And it was refreshing to know a person. To know a person like that.
So y'all started hanging out, same circle, and then she just like keeps fucking talking about Burning Man, and finally you were just like, after like some time, like situations, you were like, fuck that, this is my year.
Yeah, I had some money saved up, and I was like, because I had the understanding that because it's my first year, I didn't want to go out there just expecting to make money, and like I didn't want to have any expectations. I wanted to just let
that's the
what
best
plays
way.
out fall
Don't
into
expect
my lap.
anything, and then fucking it'll
work itself out.
Absolutely.
And that's something that I've been like really just trying to practice, just like letting things fall into place. I heard a really beautiful, I don't remember how it goes, but it was at a wedding, and he pretty much was telling my friend and her husband, like, all of these kinks in the road that you think get thrown out there, like, they were always there, and they were always meant for you to travel upon, so that way you could, you know, get to where you're going. And I just kind of thought of it as like my bedazzled wrench. Like, I'm gonna make the best out of anything that kind of seems like it's not going my way. Just put a sticker on it.
Yo, all right, that's deep.
I mean, it was at the time, but now it's getting easier to practice. Like, there's always something to be grateful for. It could definitely be a lot worse. And I just heard something else recently that was like, I've done a lot worse with a lot less. So it just is like a good reminder of like how far we come, and again, just like what else we have to be grateful for. And I'm really looking forward to all of the things that I get to learn from, all the good and the bad. And apparently it's going to be a lot of bad while I'm out on playa, so that should be interesting. Just with like the mental. Apparently I should allow myself a couple mental breakdowns. So we'll see.
I think we're gonna fucking bring it back, because I wanna talk about what you've heard and what you think is about to happen, and we're gonna come right back because we're gonna do a before and after with Miss Willow over here, and we're gonna do one more, and we're gonna do a before, and then when we come back, because I'm going out there too, obviously. Yeah. We're gonna come back and talk about fucking Burning Man, motherfuckers. Intoxxikated fucking television. We got Willow in the motherfucking house. Fucking subscribe, fucking tell your fucking people, and we will be right back with Burning Man stories. Oh god,
Subscribe to Intoxxikated Television!
Cheers. One.